just wanna live. I just wanna live. I just wanna live. God protect me. So many thoughts in my head. Will I live or will I end up?
Well, hello, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what type where you're located. We want to welcome you again to our discussion, the Black Pandemic, and we're talking about the impact of the loss of fathers in the homes and that impact on their children and wives, actually, as well. And today I just want to start off by introducing our great panel of experts, and I'm going to call them subject matter experts because these brothers have lived experience. Many of them are pastors, but I'm just going to take them one by one. I'm going to start off in my top right, left-hand corner is Brother Jimmy Floyd, and he's in Killeen. Thank you. The next on my right is Brother Michael Webb. Brother Michael Webb is in Memphis, Tennessee, a historical city. And the bottom left is we have a new person that's been added today, Johnny Glover from Memphis, Memphis, Tennessee. And he wears many hats, as do all the rest of the pastors here and the brothers here. And so we welcome him to join in. Please feel free with any comments, questions, or anything you have to add to our lively discussion. And on my right next to him, right up under me, is Dr. Larry. Dr. Larry is from Memphis, Tennessee. And we're going to get a lot of great information and input from Dr. Larry. He's a pastor there. He's a business owner, and he's got a lot of historical data that he shares to keep us in perspective when we talk about the Black family and especially the children of the fathers. And in my bottom right-hand corner, I have our host, Apostle Carranza Johns. He's there in Shreveport, Louisiana. Again, wears many hats. And I must say that most of these, we have something in common, each one of us. And I just want to introduce myself, Jackie Dozier. I'm in Humble, Texas. I often say Houston. I'm just on the north tip of Houston. So we have Tennessee, Texas in the house, Louisiana. We're going to give you a great perspective today about our pandemic. And I just want to thank all of you who have joined us. We're a bit late, a lot of technical difficulties, but we've got them taken care of. We've got a great show for you today. Get your pen, get your pencil, take notes. We're going to give you reference information and hope you enjoy it all. So again, we're going to get right into our questions because we've already lost about 45 minutes of our time. So we're going to go straight for the gusto. The previous conversations have been about the lack of fathers in the Black homes, children being deserted, abandoned, estranged. Some of it is the fault of the fathers who really didn't want children. They wanted a good night of physical pleasure, and children came out of it. So they had no emotional connection to those children, no spiritual connection to those children. And they sired them and they moved on. We also have talked about the impact on the women and women trying to be everything. I can be a husband, the father and the mother at the same time, which is biologically impossible, emotionally and psychologically impossible as well. So we've had several other discussions about what's going on in the Black home. And we're hoping that over these weeks that we have been discussing, that you will be able to take something out of these discussions and do something better about your family, about your children. One of the things that the common core that we have here is that all of these men are military trained. Most of them are retired. They've had years of experience, the discipline of the military life, the discipline of family life. They're all married. We've all had been married. I am now widowed for the second. Lost 2 husbands to cancer, and so and have 5 adult children. And one of them just recently retired from the military, still in the process of getting out now after 25 years. So we have that kind of discipline in common. And we want to share some of the things, not only from the secular world, from the military world, as well as a biblical perspective to a lot of the things that we're going to be sharing today. So we're going to jump right on in and see if we can redeem some of this time. And I want to say thank you again to all the brothers who are with us today, because, you know, as a woman, we don't know how men think. We study them, we question them, we read books about them. We don't really know how they really think until we have asked them ourselves, gotten it from the horse's mouth. So there's no assumptions being made. We're going to get these 5 brothers on to respond to our questions. And we're just going to go reach back with one question from last week. And it said, why is the man being blamed for not being in the child's life? Now that's only part A of that question. Part B is this: when in a lot of cases, the mothers who are not connected to the fathers by marriage, when they will not allow the father to see the children or the child. And we know there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on when you get pregnant and you're not married to the father. And so we're going to ask, and you know what, we're going to indulge our guest today, Brother Johnny Glover from Memphis. And we're going to ask him if he'll weigh in on that question and just answer it for us. What is your opinion? You're a law enforcement person, probably have access to a lot of that from the legal standpoint, but just give us your perspective today. And we're just going to ask you to take about 5 minutes, and so we can get around to all of our panelists and get some information. Why is a man often blamed when the mother stands in the way of him seeing his or her child? His child?
You know, that's a really, really good question. And there's a few answers to that. One is man is automatically held accountable and responsible for family.
Wow.
He first have to be accountable and responsible for himself. If he doesn't care about himself, then how can he care for somebody else? How can he care for a child? So automatically what happens when 2 get together, and I call it the one night stand without expectations. We get together, we lust after the woman. We're hunters, so we hunt women. We hunt after her because she's our prey. But we don't expect for that child or something to come out of that. We just want that. We just want that good feeling. And you know, some people say, you know, you're a preacher, you can't talk like that. Well, how can I get to you if I can't talk on your level? How can I get to you? So when they meet and a child comes out, and this man doesn't care because it's not what he wanted in the first place, he leaves. So automatically she's upset, and now you can't see the child. If you can't see me or come back to me, then you can't see the child, which is wrong. Which is wrong. They put that child up there. This is what you got to deal with before you talk to me. So sometimes the man will go back just to get, you know, have that feeling again with no respect for the child. So women, let me kind of turn a little bit. Women, some women, not all women, because there are some good women, there are some good men out here. Women use that child and say, look, you know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put you on child support. I'm gonna lock your license, and I'm gonna have you in court because you won't deal with me. And it makes all men look like they are the worst. They make all men look like they're just bad dads. There's some guys on child support right now, and I know you guys talked about this last week, I just couldn't get in, who don't need to be on child support. They're taking care of their child. They're doing what they're supposed to do. I don't have to live in the house. We don't have to live in the house to be good fathers. I mean, I can stop by and pick my son or daughter or whoever up, but because of the mom being mad because I got a new woman or I'm married, now all of a sudden you're the enemy and you can't come to my house anymore. And I think that's wrong. I think it's very wrong for the system, judicial system, child support system, to bag them up with such disrespectful behavior toward that man. So God knows, I wish I could get in there and be appointed to some position where I could change it for the betterment of the man. Because if that man, I hope I'm not getting too far off, if that man's license are taken because he hadn't paid a couple dollars or he missed a few payments, then how can he drive around? How can he get to work? How can he take care of his family? Well, the judge doesn't care about your family. They don't care about your present family. They don't care if you got 5 more kids. They just want you to take care of that one. Well, if you ask a child who's on child support, How much money do you see that comes through that check? How much money does your mom give you? And he's probably going to tell you, with my experience, none, no money. So my experience as being one who was on child support at one time, under so much pressure, my son, who's 29 years old now, thought for years that I never gave him any money.
Right.
So he hated me. And we fought like two bears, but I won, of course. And, and because of what his mom said. Because of what his mom said. And so, wait a minute, son, let me show you these receipts. Let me show you these receipts where the court took this money from my check and my income tax, along with my wife at the time, took all our money for you. And she bought furniture, she bought weave and whatever it takes. So that son, a lot of women are just filling their sons and daughters' heads up with, your father ain't no good. He's not doing his job. And that's why the world says that we're deadbeat dads.
Right. 36 seconds.
Yeah. Because
Go ahead, Brandon.
the seed that has been planted in our son's head, which makes our son now criminals. It makes them liars. And they sometimes repeat what the daddy may have done. And now they're deadbeat dads. And it goes a cycle that goes on and on and on. So something has to change somewhere in the mother's mindset or in the two parents. We may not be together, but together we can make this a great child without our differences, selling our difference outside of the child. So I hope that there's so much you can say about it. I don't want to take up all the time. I'm new, so y'all watch me.
Wonderful point. Wonderful point. I'm going to ask Brother Michael Webb. Or if anybody else will just raise your hand and let me know. But Brother Michael Webb, why don't you pick up on that? Give us your perspective on the question, the issue that's been raised. We want to blame the men. It's all y'all fault. You made this baby. Now it's time for you to take care of it. Come on, talk to us.
It's hard for me to really speak from that point of view, because I've been married to the same woman for 43 years and we met at 14 years old. So we've been together for a long time. So it's hard for me to really speak on child support or being pressured to have to pay, because I've never experienced that. So I would have to move on, let somebody else, I can speak from it, from what I've seen or but I've never really gone through that. I've never been put on child support. I've never been, done like that to some degree, even though my wife and I, had our first daughter when we were 16 years old. Well, she had turned 17. And so they called themselves trying to, I guess, put me on a little something, but I was 17, so I couldn't work, didn't have no job or nothing. So eventually that went away. So I ended up, wanting to do something, because I refused to allow, my child to be raised by my wife's parents when I was an able body. And I know one of the main reasons, my wife and I talked about this, is because of the example that we grew up under, with both parents in the home. So we saw our dads working and stuff like that. So that just kind of trickled down to us, or to me, to say, well, look, my dad worked all them years. I saw him go in and out. I saw him come in and out. So I already knew that, hey, the buck stopped with me, so I'm gonna have to do something. So the military was my way of providing and taking care of my family. So that's me. That's my point.
I think you had made a good point.
You did.
For this particular issue. I think that was perfect, in that here is a father, a very young father, who generally, psychology says your brain does not even develop till you're about 21 years old. But at 16, you had good role models in your home, and you were able to see, you had a perfect object lesson to see what a man was supposed to do, how he was supposed to take care of his child. So that is, I think that was an excellent example to support what we're going to say. Brother Johnny, let me come back to you. I see your finger up, and then we're going to go to Brother Jimmy. You be ready. I'm going to give you 1 minute. Got a minute and 10 seconds on the clock.
Oh, me?
No, brother, Johnny Glover, you had your finger up. Did you want to make a comment?
Just one comment. You know,
Okay, 1
yeah,
minute.
we had great role models in that day, and I'm sure I was young at that time too. But now those role models are gone. All parents are teenagers, pretty much. We don't have a great grandmother. We don't have granny and all both living at the same time in our house like I did. They're gone. So my question, along with the comment, where are they, and what will we do about it?
Excellent. All right, brother Jimmy, I want you to pick it up and take it from there. 5 minutes.
So that's a good segue and a great question. I'm gonna ask you to reframe it again, brother Glover, but I'm gonna try to address the first one. I myself experienced child support, and I've always been the type of person, if you threaten me, you won't get nothing out of me. I'm sorry, yes. I'm just like that. So I'm just saying, Dr. Larry, hey, that's just me. You threaten me, you ain't gonna get nothing out of me. So right. Caught up in an infidelity, had a child outside my marriage, and the person threatened me, said, hey, well, look, I'm gonna put you on these papers. I said, well, I'll tell you what, you go ahead then. When them papers come to me, I'll deal with it then, because I don't like being threatened, especially if I'm trying to make amends and I'm trying to, do what's right. But yes. You don't force my hand. Let me do it willingly. And so, as all that took place, I just give you a little quick synopsis. Went to Korea, came back, then all of a sudden served papers, then all of a sudden in the court system. I didn't like the way that felt, so I had hired me a lawyer, and guess what? My lawyer went there. You ain't see me no more, you saw my lawyer. So I'm gonna play with you like you play with me. But still, by court order, had these things. And I think we kind of left off last week where you saw Michael Webb make me cry last week. He did it, that fella right there. But from the age of 2 years old till my son turned 17,
sorry.
There was a lot of lost time. And in the reunification in 2017, I found him to be much like me, but very angry like I was at his age due to that separation. And him with the understanding thing, again, like you said, Brother Glover, that, hey, you ain't never done that for me. Hold on, time out. Let me show you in the state of Texas, we had to send it through the system. And I can print it out and show you, hey, this is every dime that was sent to you from 2005 up until now. Now, whether you send it or not, that's not my problem. But however, I was always concerned about you. And so it's that hard thing that you have to deal with when you have to initiate that conversation. And then also show, hey, here you go, proof of principle, that it was done. And a lot of times, as Brother Glover stated earlier, fathers are blamed. And in some cases, mothers are blamed. Because I'm a product of that situation too, where everybody blames my mother, but nobody wants to blame my father, because everybody liked my father and they don't like my mother. So I'm that little odd thing that's in the middle. The secret that nobody wants to talk about. But however, I guess that's what kind of makes me balanced in my delivery. When I think about things, I try to think things all the way through, is that irregardless of how the child came, that the parents share responsibility in parenting the child. And often, again, mothers are upset because he's not with me, he made a choice to stay, or whatever the case may be, or I was just that one night stand, or whatever the case may be. Or over here, hey, she should have known better, because I've heard this, from family members saying, well, they both was married, but she was more responsible. How she more responsible? It took two.
That too.
Wrong answer don't work like that. Not in my, and then I have to express, hey, I lived it too, so don't blame my mama. I'm sorry, don't do her like that. That's my mama. So all parties involved are to be blamed if there's going to be any blame. All parties involved share the burden and the responsibility for co-parenting. And even sometimes the innocent bystanders in the peripheral get hurt in the process, because in the event that you're married and you have a child outside your marriage, and you got to think about that mate that's hurting.
Yeah. And
then you have to go through all of those different emotions and feelings and all of those things until that person begin to heal. And so what helped me through my process is that when the Most High told me, he told Jimmy, I was preached over in the pulpit, I was talked about like crazy. But when he told me, he said, son of man, he said, you are who I called you to be in spite of what you're going through. And he said, also understand this. He said, this is how you know that I'm healing her is when she start asking you about him.
Ah,
Mm.
And sure
Yes,
enough,
sir.
she started asking me about him. Where is he at? You're paying child support. Why are you not in contact with him?
Mm.
So Dr. Larry, I'm like you, when I hear those indicators, when God began to speak like that, I just sit back in my cut like this.
Yeah.
and the cut.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit in the cut and let him do what he do,
Love
because
it.
some people try
Love
to
it.
force it and you can't do that.
Yes,
You
sir.
have to allow the Most High, the Ruach HaKodesh, to begin to break down those barriers of the heart, to begin to mend the pain, and begin to say, okay, this is what's right. This is what right looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people try to force and try to make somebody understand. You can't make them understand. And then the question comes, well, why didn't you make me understand? You didn't want to hear me in the first place.
5 seconds.
So therefore, I had to turn you over to the one that can make you understand. God bless you.
Mm.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I mean, this is real time, real life experiences.
Yes, sir.
Oftentimes people will see your glory. They don't know the backstory. And we
Mm.
all have them. And this is the real stuff that helps people to realize that he had that testimony and now he's here. That can help us. And that can help others as well. I'm being helped by the brothers too, because I have my own sad story about my children being estranged and abandoned. But God, there was an end to that story that was much better than part of the middle part of it. So at this point, who's going to be next? Brother Apostle Johns or Dr. Larry? Which one of y'all want to go next? It's getting hot now.
I'm going before Dr. Larry, okay? I'm not,
I ain't mad at you. I'm not mad at you. All right, come on, let's talk about it. Who blaming the father when oftentimes the mother is responsible for keeping that child away?
Well, I mean, I can't add to what has already been said, so, I mean, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come in on something else, but I can't.
Okay, you're going to pass on that one. Okay.
Right, I'm going to see the necessity to add to what they done laid it out already.
Wow.
You don't have another perspective because we're looking at for a divergence of ideas, experiences, realities, so that we can help somebody who will have the same story as Brother Glover, have the same story as Brother Webb, have the same story as Brother Floyd. Somebody's going to get something out of this. So go ahead.
What it is this: I was on the other end.
Give us the other end.
I was supposed to receive child support.
That's a good one.
And it wasn't all of that trying to trace nobody down and run them down and make them do right or anything like that. It's a total different system when the man is responsible for his kids and taking care of his kids and making that mother do it. They supposed to do.
Yes.
So,
tell us about that, please.
Well, it's terrible.
I just don't know anybody who's been on the other end. I know my daughter was married to a man and they took money from her because she was married to him. But share your part.
Yeah, well, all of that was supposed to take place, but it didn't. And I didn't see no court appointed nobody trying to go out and make this person do what they're supposed to do. And I'm pretty sure they got tickets and stuff. Nothing, like a brother get pulled over. Well, you got this child support you ain't paid. We're gonna take you to jail. They don't. It's a assault against men. The system is just like in America. You got the judiciary system and how they deal with Black Americans and how they deal with white Americans. Right. It's the same way with the child support system. You deal with the men one way, you deal with the ladies another way. And when it's all said and done, that's where it come out. It didn't bother me. I kept doing what I was doing, in spite of, and I wasn't going to get into all of that and just do what I was supposed to do. But that's what I experienced, is that they do not, maybe some do, but here in Memphis, they can care less about a woman not paying a child support, period. Whether it's court ordered or not, no one followed up to make that happen. So we raised our little babies and, until we got married again, and I got my lovely one, and I'm good to go. So
good for you. Good for you.
Yes,
One of the points that was raised for me with your testimony, Dr. Larry, is that maybe the civilian system is a little different from military, because the military, that my daughter was married to a man and he wasn't paying child support. And when it came time for them to get their income tax return, it went to the mom, was taken from her, you know, from them in that regard, and that
Yeah.
she was hit just as badly as I guess
Right.
going for the man. If you're married to him, they're gonna hit you up for your money as well.
None of
So
that
that was
happened.
another
All
piece,
of that
and
was,
it didn't happen for you.
all of that was in the decree. All of that was there. None of that happened.
And none of it happened.
None of that happened. No.
My last question is, could it have been enforced if you had enforced it? If
Well,
you had gone and asked for
we went
assistance?
to a certain point with it and nothing was happening.
Gotcha.
And I said, listen, I was raised different. You don't have to tell me to take care of my kids, you know? So I'm not gonna tell nobody, I'm just gonna take care of them, you know, and do it like that. But I did go through it, and my attorney went through it, and they said, we're gonna show you how crooked this system is.
Wow.
When men, especially in Memphis. Now that's like Pastor Glover was saying, it's some junk going on here in
Yeah.
terms of desecrating Black men and just tearing them down as much as they possibly can in the area of family. And so we walked through that and experienced that.
And I'm going to address a listening audience. If you guys are out there, you got to hold on. We got something for you before the end of this, before the end of this thing. And we got about 12 minutes left. And so it looks like, because we've lost a lot. I think we've got so much perspective. I'm going to ask Apostle Johns if he'll come. I'll give you a little bit of my story. And then we're going to leave you with a cliffhanger, hoping that you'll come back next week. We can get this thing started on time and redeem those 45 minutes that we left. So Apostle Johns, why don't you say what you need to say, and then we're going to go right.
I have paid child support before, and as everyone has said, one of the things we're looking at is a system. The system is designed to bring forth dysfunctional families, in particular in the Black area of us. And one of the things I can say, not all women are greedy, but during my time of paying child support, I hate the greediness of a woman when she finds out that you have more money.
That's right.
She comes back to get more money when the court has already given you what you need to pay. And plus you doing more than that, you paying, you know, whatever percentage for the children that you have for child support, plus you buying them, you know, you bought a car for them to go to school in, you got a place for them to stay. That's not including child support now, plus giving them clothes and everything else that they need to have, and extra money that they have, and, you know, for extra activities that they have in school. So I don't like greedy women that try to go after people money paying child support. That's one of my pet peeves that I have. I think it's very responsible for a man to take care of his child. You know, if it's that, you know, it don't even have to be his child. It could be somebody else's child. But if you're living with that family, you know, you should take care of that family. But I have a problem with a greedy woman. All right. In my case, somebody was greedy, and they wasn't. Matter of fact, my kids wind up being in shelter. You getting this money, but my kids in shelter, not going to school. And I go to the school, and I try and find out what's going on with my kids in school. And you know the sad thing about this, my name is not even on the records. On the records, it has father unknown. Now, you know, I had to be saved, filled with the Ruach Hadish. Huh?
7 dips in water.
I had to hold my peace. I'm paying all this money, and my name not even on records. So I had to show these people through court records that I'm the father. I'm paying child support. These are my children. This is their birthday. This is their name, etc., etc., etc. And so I believe this system is not the woman, it's not the father's fault. It's the system fault that we're in. And so what happened is that the child or the children are the ones that's going to get hurt. And what's going to happen? Two things. They're going to get hurt physically and mentally. And so that's what this system does. And then let me close with this so we can go on and get off this system at this time. The system itself getting money from us paying child support. We pay child support, give it to a woman, and they got a percentage that they get. So the system is designed to really take us down, you know. And I know it's brothers out there that's struggling, and even women is out there struggling that's trying to pay child support that want to. But I don't like those that every nickel they get, they want that nickel and dime that you got. And that's totally.
I personally have experience with one young man having children by 2 different women, and they're constantly dragging him back and forth to court, you know, trying to get additional money. Now he's married with another family and they're just constantly dragging him back and forth to court, trying to get that extra bit of something. And that's a reality. And so because our time is limited, this is the question that I wanted to really pose. And I think this is something that we really need to address in the coming sessions, is about this issue with money and how can, but the reality is this: oftentimes women are after men so that they can get babies and so that they can get a child support check.
Mhm.
And I was personally counseling this one lady, 34 years old with 11 children. I'm gonna say this and then I'm not even gonna share my story. 11 children. And one of them was 17. And so she was going with an older man. I'm trying to deal with her and stuff. She said, my mama told me that when I get 18, I gotta get out of the house. And that in order for me, because I think she was 17 in the 8th grade. And she said, and she told me that if I wanted to get out of the house and get me a check and food stamps and housing allowance, if I get pregnant, that I could take care of myself. And I said, please don't do that, baby. Just stay with it, go to school. She got pregnant in her 5th or 6th month, might have been a little bit longer. She called me up and asked me would I come to her baby shower. I said, for what? She said, Miss Jackie, you need to come to my baby shower and bring me a gift. I said, for what? Because I'm pregnant, the baby. I said, but I'm paying that the housing that you have applied for. I am paying your check that you get every single month, your WIC services. And I said, I'm already giving you your baby shower gift. I said, every
Wow.
single month that I pay taxes, part of my money goes to you. You have already gotten your baby shower gift. And I didn't have no pleasure in making that baby. I didn't even ask for it, but they're taken away from me in order to supply you. I said, that's not even fair to us. That's not even an issue with the fathers or with the mothers who are being gotten for child. All of us are paying for these people who are on welfare through our taxes and what have you. And when talk about we need to do something about it, I think that needs to be another session. But this is our cliffhanger. And we have how many more minutes? 13 more minutes before we need to end. This is one of the things I wanted to bring up for all of us. We know that people that look like us melanated folks, some of us got various amounts of melanin in our skin and others got more. But we know that the question comes up, especially now, when racism has just been uncovered in every level of human existence. Every industry, economic strata, racism it just showed its ugly head. And so the question is, I've had it 2 times this week. Why are Black people hated on every single country, in every single country on the face of the world? I asked God that question in August of 2017, getting ready to make my first trip to Africa. Why? And the research was astounding. And we got a subject matter expert, Dr. Larry, who's helping all of us on this thing, really to help us to see that it's just not by accident that people don't like us because we're Black. It's not by accident that laws are made that will govern the prosecution and everything for Black people so much different than white. It is not a mistake. So with that, I just want brother Dr. Larry, we got 11 minutes left. I want to give you at least 6 to 7, 8 minutes, those minutes, just to give us a historical background. And the next week, I've got some YouTube sites that you can go on for some of you who don't understand why we are hated everywhere. And it's not by accident. Nobody on the face of the earth is hated the way people that are hated that look like us. And so I think a lot of what we're going through with this family whole situation is because There is it's like it's written in the DNA across every single country. I don't care which one country you ask for. Why are blacks hated in China, in Germany? Just Google any of it, and it will point back to the same origin. So, Dr. Larry, you know where I'm going, and if we have to start a revolution, I got military brothers here. I got a law enforcement person. They probably got guns in their houses, and they got permits to carry. You know, you come after me, you're gonna have to get my brothers. So, Brother Larry, why don't you go ahead? We're gonna save about 2 or 3 minutes to wrap it up. And Brother Derek, I hate leaving you out. So we're gonna hear from Dr. Larry. We're gonna have Brother Derek to give us his comments, and then we're gonna close it for the day. And this is gonna be our cliffhanger. You're not gonna want to miss next week. We got something to talk to you about. Go ahead, Brother Larry.
Hey, well, I'll probably do about 3 minutes because I'm over time.
You gotta go too. Yeah.
But just put it in a nutshell. Number one, when you look at a black man, you're looking at the same man that the Father created in the beginning. A black woman, you're looking at the same woman, the image of the woman that he created in the beginning. If you study science scientifically, only when you look at the AB and the BB and the AA, that gene pool, only black people can produce people of other colors with different melanin counts. Light-skinned people cannot do that. Black people are the original people.
Only one.
They're the one that had the confrontation with the fallen cherub angel, Lucifer, in the beginning. He developed a hate for him when he saw that the Father created another being that he loved and gave a free will, and he developed that hate in the beginning. And so it's the spirit of hate is coming from the one who initiated hate and who initiated lawlessness, who initiated iniquity when he chose to exalt himself above the Most High, El Elyon. Black people are hated by the Gentiles, the seed of Japhet. The scripture talk about the Gentiles, that the times of the Gentiles. And you study Bereshit, Genesis chapter 11, you'll find out that the Gentiles are the seed of Japhet. Every other ethnic group on this earth other than black are the seed of Japhet, or you can say Gentiles. Shem and Ham were black brothers. They were the same. They came from the same black father. Japhet came out with the lightest melanin count in his skin. And at the beginning, Nimrod, who started secular government on the earth, was a black man. All people on the earth was under the rulership of black people. Seed of Japhet broke out from that. The enemy was in it and trying to bring discord, disarray, tear down that black man, that black family, tear down his country, tear down his nation, and everything that's involved with him. It's going to continue to happen until the scripture be fulfilled, whereas the times of the Gentiles is coming to an end. Japhet is the seed of the Gentiles, or Gentiles is the Japhet seed, again, Genesis chapter 11. This is why black people are hated in every country. I know y'all military, everywhere you went, it's the same hateful spirit. Racial superiority, the same hateful spirit. You look at the Bible and the translations, 26 translators, none of them black. You look at all the theological, philosophical doctrine that's out here. It didn't emanate from black folk. It came from the seed of Japhet. The Jews that we call Jews, Armenian Jews, Ashkenazi Jews, European Jews, Russian Jews. These are all replacement. Yeshua said himself that you got those who call themselves, and they are not the real Yehudites. They are not the real Israelites, people of the land that the Father was dealing with, and he gave the land of Canaan too. So when you look at theology, the doctrine of the church, the doctrine of Christianity, you will see that the black man has been put down. When you look at Muslim and Islam, the black man get a little breathing room, but still he is being put down. You look at every religion out here on the face of this earth, and the black man is still at the bottom. Hating of the black man, giving the black woman a break because the black man is the source. He was that person that was standing in the face of Elohim in the beginning that Lucifer hated so viciously. In America, we have systemic racism. We have all cultural racism. We got all type of racism, but the problem is racial hatred. Racism is just an economic race for another race of people to gain economic control at the expense of another race so they can dominate. Racial hatred is hating you because the way you look, the amount of melanin that's in your skin, your characteristics, the way you act, your culture, what you believe in, and everything else. It's going to continue on until the times of the Gentile come to an end. In the meantime, all black people, all black people, whether you're brown, light brown, and that has been redefined. Light-skinned people are Black people. We're not talking about,
Black.
they say that Adam looked like Asians or Mexicans. No, he did not. He did not. Scientific is, they have proven that. And then you got churches, one of y'all big churches in Texas, this guy's talking about when Noah had 3 sons and Japheth was white, Shem was light skinned, and Ham was Black. You know, and these lies are being propagated everywhere across the land. This is why Black people are being hated, because if you are the original. If you hate the original, tear down original, then you can replace and take that position of the original and never allow that person know who they are. So if we are hating each other, it's the same spirit at work. It come from Satan that was implanted, not only during slavery in America, but prior to that, during the religious wars and things that was going on in Africa. Thank you so much. Hopefully I wasn't too fast, but that's a great one we're gonna get into. And I love y'all much. And
I
shalom.
know that's right.
Yes, sir.
If you're looking for more evidence of what the
Wow.
truth is about who
Yes.
we are, then you got to be back with us next week. And God willing, we'll be able to get on here at 2 o'clock. By 2:05, we'll be on it, and we'll be able to share some resources where you can go look it up for yourself. The man of God, Dr. Larry, did not lie. The evidence is everywhere. The problem with some people, they don't like to read. They don't like to research. Go ahead, brother, Dr. Larry.
Yeah,
And then we're going to give it to...
I'm not a racial
No.
hatred type person.
No.
People know me. I got white friends. I got
Love
white
'em.
folk work for
Love
me.
'em.
I got white folk who support me. They
Yes, sir.
appreciate being authentic, being real,
Love 'em.
being truthful. If you got Holy Spirit in you, you gotta say the truth with no hatred attached. So
Amen.
even when you get fast and
Amen.
get aggressive, it's not through hate. I'm just trying to get a message out. I don't hate nobody. Believe
Don't
me.
hate
Mhm.
them. Don't
Greg
hate them.
Kadosh, the Holy
Nobody.
Spirit dwells in this person here.
Yes,
And I
sir.
love everybody, and I hate the devil. Y'all be blessed
That's
and love
it.
you much.
All right,
Shalom.
thank you, Brother Jerry, will
Mm.
you have just a few words to say, and then we're going to give it back to our host for closing, and thank you again for a great session. But
Mm.
Derek, come on.
Yeah, I got a few things. One is when it comes to Black men, you know, especially me being a young Black man, I always point that out because I always want to give my perspective as being a young Black man, and also being a young father. One thing that I always wanted growing up was a family. So I was never the guy to kind of just, what should I say? Some people say sow their royal oats. I wasn't the type of person. I grew up in a family, and that was what I wanted. So that was kind of how I positioned myself.
Mhm.
But even in doing that, you still see different type of stereotypes and not knowing how to do certain things and not realizing, how you should be a father because, not having an example of a father all the time. So saying that is that, a lot of young Black men, they don't know who they are. And I know Pastor Johns has talked on this a lot, and Dr. Larry is my pastor, and he speaks on it all the time, but it's just an identity crisis. So one thing that you see that is really popular right now on social media platforms, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, you see like some of the most viewed videos with Black men in them is where a Black man is playing the role of a woman and a man.
Right.
So first of all, I want to commend you all. I know you all are seasoned, or I'll say mature. And that's why I like listening to you all, because I just commend you all for being on social media, because this is what, really young Black men need to hear and to understand and get the wisdom from it so that they can live it out themselves. So that's all I had to say. And like I say, just give you all some praise for just, even being, like I say, older, but actually coming on social media and making these type of statements.
Great. And I want to just leave this thought with the brother. Somebody asked me, what will your how will you answer your children's children when they ask you, mama, grandmama, granddaddy, what have you? What did you do when all this racism was going on? What did you do personally to help in this crisis? That's a thought for us to look at and start developing even for next week. And Brother Johns, if you will take us out, what did we do in order to address this issue?
God bless you. Thank you so much, Apostle Joseph. You did a great job on today. Everybody, thank God for our new guest. Hope he can join us on next week. Brother Michael, Brother Floyd, all you guys was wonderful. Dr. Larry, and also our technician, Brother Anderson, was great. And so I'm looking forward. We're about to take this to another level. Every one of us on the panel is not a racist. We do have white people that fellowship with us.
Love them.
The truth must come
Love
out.
all people.
In the days that we're living in now, it is the age of the mouth of 5781, where the mouth of God must speak truth, who we are. And one of the things that I've noticed as a people, we don't have an identity. And we don't have an identity, we don't have a purpose or a destiny. And so that's because we don't have information. Information comes with knowledge and history. All those things come together. And without those things, the people perish without the lack of knowledge, the scripture says. And so from this day on, the weeks and months coming, if it's the Most High will, that we're going to be very deep in talking about our culture, even with Christianity, the church, and everything that's going on. Sister Doty, you sent something so powerful on last night to us that was so devastating about the church and what's going on in the church and what's happening. And so everything that we're doing now, I think our church, I think the kingdom is a message that we need to preach in this hour. And I'm just so excited and delighted that that these brothers and this sister are so wonderful and so in their words, speaking and giving hope to everybody that's out there. We're not ashamed in our game about talking about our past life that we talked about, you know, as far as child support, being Black or whatever we are. There's no shame in our game. You know, don't forget where you come from.
Right.
You know, you might see my glory, but you don't know my story. So there's a lot of people out there. So this platform is designed not to get a microphone, and I'm going to be short, not to get a microphone and preach a sermon or to teach. You can go on other social medias and get that, but we want to be realistic. We want to talk about truth and present truth and talking about things that are happening in people's life real time.
Yes,
right
sir.
now. And how can we help you and deliver you from what's happening? And so all these people that we have on the day, these brothers and this sister are very intellectual, very spiritual, discerned, and powerful. And I just want to thank you. I can't wait until next week. We're going to get together and come up with a topic, and we're going to dialogue like never before. So again, I'm CV Johns. I don't have to say apostle, but I'm brother CV Johns, Shreveport, Louisiana, New Wine Ministries. Let me give out a shout to my church members out there and my family members here in Shreveport, Louisiana. I want to thank you so much. And once again, thank our panelists and those that are viewing. Thank you so much. And as we say in Hebrew, shalom.
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 Till next week.
All right. Boy, this was a
God
blessing.
bless you.
Oh, it's getting gooder and gooder.